I don't normally do this because I figured most of the people who watch my vidcast are adults, but because I don't put anything gratuitous in my vidcast, people will put on my show while they're in the room with their kids. And I try to keep it that way because I want you to be able to listen to what I'm saying anywhere and everywhere. However, I must put a content warning on this webisode because I will be discussing the Neil Gaiman scandal. Some of the allegations are incredibly shocking and disturbing to some viewers. So I wanted to give you the chance. If you have children in the room, you might want to put on your headphones. 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Don't pull right down the side. Hi everyone, my name is Jacob Berry. Welcome to the StudioJake vidcast where I talk about all things pop culture. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. So Neil Gaiman is a really popular British author. He has made success in the book publishing industry, particularly with sort of urban fantasies like Good Omens, but also into comic books with Sandman and with other sort of titles like Whatever Happened to the Caped Crusader, which is one of my all-time favorite Batman stories. It was kind of the transition out of the post-crisis universe for Batman and into the final crisis universe, which led to the original 52, what some people call the 1 year later storyline. And by the way, I'm not like some super fan of his. I've never read any of his novels. I've only read his comic book works, and even that mainly sticking to his Batman and DC Comics works. However, he is very popular. He has made appearances in TV shows. I believe he guest starred in The Big Bang Theory at one time. So this is a guy who is pretty well known in nerd culture and just pop culture in general. Now, with his allegations, and I want to specify, I'm not an attorney, so there's no legal advice in this video, and I want to say that these are allegations at this time, but I feel like I should report on it. And Neil Gaiman has been accused by several women of being inappropriate with them, and in some cases, criminal activity, which he should be in jail for if they're true. This is according to Fandom Pulse, and I would also like to shout out the Fandom Pulse's chief editor or editor-in-chief, Jean Delarose. He has actually been reporting on this way before the mainstream media or even sort of what you would consider geek media has picked up on this. He's been on top of this from the very beginning. So again, this is according to Fandom Pulse. New York Magazine released a deep dive into the Neil Gaiman sexual misconduct allegations. With interviews of several of the women involved, the allegations have escalated with detailed accounts where the women involved accused the Sandman and American Gods author of. In 2024, Neil Gaiman was accused of sexual misconduct by 7 women, the first 2 starting with the Tortoise podcast, an investigative journalism outlet named for the tortoise and the hare fable, leaning towards slow and steady wins the race. They are well known for doing deep dives on situations and gathering all of the information to ensure accuracy before reporting. Now, New York Magazine, through their Vulture outlet, has done a deep analysis of the situation, speaking with several of the women involved, providing detailed accounts of what's grown to 8 women accusing Neil Gaiman of a range of creepy behavior to criminal, providing an account of his childhood surrounding by the cult of Scientology, informing his behavior, as well as these escapades led to divorce with Amanda Palmer. While many know about the encounter with Scarlett Pavlich, in which Neil Gaiman infamously declared that they merely cuddled in a bathtub, Scarlett's account of the situation is far more harrowing and graphic, according to the new article. Once again, I'm going to give a content warning. I've had a thought, Scarlett recalled him saying. Why don't you have a bath in the beautiful claw bathtub in the garden? It's absolutely enchanting. After this, the situation gets dark. Pavlovich did not anticipate Gaiman would show up in the bath claiming he had a work call to go on, but he allegedly did, flashing her stark naked before getting into the tub with her. She claims she said no even to this element, but then says he persisted. The next part is really amorphous, Pavlich told the interviewer, but I can tell you that he put his finger straight into my rear end and tried to put his Johnson in my rear end, and I said no, no. Then he tried to rub his Johnson between my chest, and I said no as well. Then he asked if he could on my face, and I said no, but he did anyway. He said, call me master and I'll come. He said, be a good girl. You're a good little girl. Afterwards, she recalled him saying, Amanda told me I couldn't have you. Pavlich recalls him saying, as soon as he had heard this, He knew he had to have her. God, he continued, I wish it were the good old days where we could both bleep you. The situation with her got worse at points where Scarlett describes Gaiman as beating her with a belt, forcing himself upon her in several situations, and even an incident where she was forced to taste her. He said, Are you defying your master? She told the interview. I had to lick my own bleep. This was not the only encounter like this, she detailed. At one point, she said that he urinated on his hand and told her to lick it off, showing how debased Gaiman is. Allegedly, I'd like to add. According to Scarlett, Amanda Palmer told her, 14 women have come to me about this. He had allegedly slept with another babysitter in his prior marriage as well. Some of these events were done, according to Scarlett, when Gaiman's young son was in the room with them. Palmer later allegedly told her, I've had to do this before and I can do this again. I will take care of you. She filed a police report in 2023, hoping Amanda Palmer would help with the situation, but when it came to it, Palmer refused to talk to the police. Palmer does have a song that seems to reference Gaiman's behavior. It goes into the lyrics. I'm not going to go into them because they reference self-deletion. Continuing on, after Scarlett, the article details the known accounts of Neil Gaiman taking advantage of young fans, one who went by the pseudonym of Brenda. He seems to have a script. He wanted me to call him Master immediately. Another fan story is well known as Gaiman told her, I'm a very wealthy man and I'm used to getting what I want. Gaiman paid this fan over $60,000 for therapy bills after her encounter with him left her scarred. Another young fan who started following Gaiman when she was 18 years old in 2003 found herself in increasing demanding situations with the author. It was a big, hard no. I told him, you cannot put anything in my private area or I will die. Gaiman then allegedly flipped her over on the bed and attempted to force himself on her with his fingers. Once more, the woman claimed she said no, but after he stopped, he then allegedly went for full intercourse. I just sat down, she said of the situation. According to Tortoise, Gaiman's representative says that these situations were consensual and that sexual degradation, bondage, domination, sadism, and masochism may not be to everyone's taste, but between consenting adults, BDSM is lawful. It appears he used his fetish lifestyle to blur the lines between domination and abuse. The next incident detailed an incident where Gaiman's wife, Amanda Palmer, slept with a young female fan and then began texting illicit images of the fan to Gaiman. It spawned a relationship between the author and the fan, where the fan said she felt like she'd been given to Gaiman like a toy. Next came Caroline, a woman who lived on the Gaiman estate in New York, who had been detailed prior as being forced to provide sexual services to Gaiman in exchange for not losing her home with her children. She alleges she even had a sexual encounter with her when his 4-year-old son was in bed with them. He didn't have boundaries, she said. While there are more women in the situation, with Scarlett on record with harrowing details of her abuse from Gaiman, combined with the testimony of fans and Caroline, who was eventually paid off by Gaiman as well, according to Tortoise, it appears as if this might be a PR situation the fantasy author cannot recover from. If these allegations are true, and just from the evidence that is coming to light, it could very well be no person, no woman, no man, no child should ever be in the situations that are purported in this article. I think that it is gross. I think it is disturbing. What is even more disturbing about this and shocking is that Neil Gaiman purports to be a male feminist, right? He's always going off and he's tweeting all these feminist lines. And when people called out Netflix for race and gender swapping some of the characters from his Sandman adaptation, oh, he stood up. I am woke and I will have it this way. You just don't understand the characters. Just joined in the gaslighting. So could this guy be a British creep? It looks like that's certainly a possibility. And whatever the situation is, I hope he gets the full hammer of justice, whether he is innocent or whether he is guilty. It seems to me he's not denying that he is gross and disturbed when it comes to the issue of sex. What he is denying is that these were forced encounters. He's saying everything is consensual. That's what his attorney is saying. But I don't know if that is true or not, especially if it's true that he's forcing women to call him master. That is incredibly gross and should be looked down on society. I'm curious to see where this is going to go, how this is going to happen, how this is going to play out. It seems to me that the United States of America needs to stop importing these British freaks, these British creeps into our country. Let them stay over there and deal with it. Neil Gaiman, like I said, he wrote one of my favorite Batman stories, But I think I'm going to cancel any plans I have of reading American Gods or Good Omens or watching the shows. I'm just no longer interested, at least until we see how this plays out in court. I know the topic was a little darker today, but I just wanted to say thank you very much for sticking with me to the end and watching it. If you like the video, be sure to give it a like, share it out to all your friends, leave me a comment and tell me what you think. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post new vidcasts, and consider becoming a channel member. If you would be so kind, head on over to my website. It's StudioJakeMedia.com. I've got even more articles there. I post daily, and best of all, it's free with no ads. All you have to do is sign up with your email address or through the WordPress app, and you'll get notifications when I post new articles that talk about film, television, anime, novels, and so much more. If you want to support the work that I am doing, head on over to my locals community. The link is in the description of the video. You can sign up for a monthly subscription, or you can send tips to my articles, including exclusive ones that I write just for the locals community. So head on over there and check those out, because I also exclusively publish my short stories on locals. Speaking of stories, I have novels. That's right, I am a writer. I bet you didn't know that, did you? But I hope you check them all out. I've got Cacophony. It's the supernatural thriller about a group of demons who want to conquer a small town in Texas, but angels are sent to do battle against them. If you're a fan of supernatural and paranormal fiction, you're definitely going to want to check this out. I also have my sword and sorcery fantasy trilogy, The Seven Royals. Book 1 is All Good Things. Book 2 is Breaking the Stars, and Book 3 is on its way. This Dark Army trilogy follows your favorite fairy tale characters who have to stand up against a dark mage who is trying to take over their lands. You're not going to want to miss either one of these, and I guarantee you, Book 3 is going to be one epic conclusion. Last but not least, I have Blessed Child. It is a fantasy romance novella following an elf princess who discovers she is pregnant with a human baby, sending her kingdom into turmoil. So her father, the king of the elves, hires a disgraced knight who is on the path to redemption to be her protector, and the two of them form a very unlikely friendship. You're going to want to check this book out or the others as well on Amazon.com. Buy one or all four, leave me a 5-star review. It really helps out small indie creators like myself. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.